Kansas City. My name is Peggy Mulvihill, and I'm the Children's Meditation Leader, and I am honored to work with Janet Taylor for Serenity Pause. 2 weeks ago, my only concern was how to pack these skates so they would make it safely on the cruise, finish up my figure skating performance, and then hit the road for 110 miles in 3 days for the Peddler's Jamboree. Now, I regret to inform you, one of those events failed me, or no risk, no reward. 3 broken bones, 1 shattered in 8 pieces, a plate, and a lot of PT, and I am stuck on land. But what I have to share with you is priceless. Everyone wants to have more quality time with their children. How can we create that space so we can get at a deeper level with the children that we are privileged to raise? About 21 years ago, I started being mindful and meditating. The greatest gift I was able to give my daughter was the ability to step back, give her silence, relax, and be totally and fully present in the here and now. I drugged her friends, their parents, we went on retreats, we tried everything, every different way, in almost every different religion. What I know to be true, now that she is 24 years old and one of our meditation leaders, is that silence is the perfect gift we can leave with our children. The answers lie within them. The gift we give them, loving them, educating them, feeding them, and inspiring them, is endless. But to sit down at the beginning or the end of the day and to sit quiet. Things happen in those moments before, during, and after that I can't even begin to explain to you. They'll be different for you than they were for me, but they'll be amazing. I am honored to work at Unity with Janet and work with the children in meditation. Each Sunday, we present a lesson that contains a theme. Say love, peace, patience. And in that theme, I find a quote. We have a lively discussion. The kids don't know this, so don't burst their bubble. But we always talk about them, their family, their friends, their school, and their neighbors. It's easy to love the people you love, and the challenge sometimes comes in how do we be with the people that don't serve us or make us feel uncomfortable in school, those little hooligans in the back row. Not our kids, of course. So through meditation and conversation, we can begin to unwrap and unravel the things that may or may not be bothering them or worrying them or comforting them. We share them as a group, or they just listen. We meditate together, and we have an affirmation that we say that just reminds us, after we ring the bowl, that this is a time to stop, be present, and listen to what your heart mind is telling you. We say together, feel the warmth of the peace surrounding me. Let it comfort me. We sit quietly. Sometimes we do a guided meditation. And then I do go through the ability to touch our breath, listen to our heart, explore the emotions surrounding us and inside of us. Look at the stained glass windows in the Myrtle Fillmore Chapel, which is absolutely beautiful, inspiring, and amazing. And just to be with themselves, be with our group, and to allow that time to be theirs. Through that silence, they become better listeners to themselves, to one another, to their families. I've heard it over and over again from parents telling me stories at home and thanking me for the opportunity to have their children meditate while they are able to meditate with Janet. Then we do a walking meditation. If it's nice, we go outside. If it's cold, we have a room we can go inside. We play games without words. We look at the art on the wall. Sometimes we sit down and we do art meditation, copying the art that is on the wall, or looking at the beautiful stained glass windows inside the big church. Other times, we come back after a beautiful walking silent meditation, and then we do an art project that ties in with our theme. All of these 4 pillars we catch each week. What the children say after they meditate, I feel like the luckiest girl in the world to hear their stories. Some say, I was laying outside in the grass with my grandfather who passed away years ago, and we were just petting my dog and talking about life. Others will share stories about something at school, something they resolved through the quiet space. And others will simply share the fact that it was just great to be quiet, and they never get to be quiet, and they feel happy and peaceful. And a lot of them say, I feel calm. My personal trademark is calm kids. I have been teaching for 21 years, high school, middle school, and now Montessori in the younger grades. I can tell you whether it is suburban or urban core schools, all children crave for the ability to get quiet and think. They have phones, laptops, media, social media, constantly bombarding them. The stories of the tragedies these past years are horrific. They saw more than they needed to. Unexpected news came on that parents didn't catch till they came out of the kitchen, and it was too late. Children are carrying loads that you and I did not experience through social media when we were children. Our parents kept those kind of stories from us, or we didn't hear about them. Now is the time for us as adults to provide a space for children and adults to be mindful, to meditate, to appreciate and understand what silence can bring us. And then later down the road, the same children remind the adults, and the adults can remind the children, maybe you should take 3 deep breaths. Why don't we sit down and meditate? Let's listen to one of the CDs together. Sometimes the children will say, I want to hear the CD. Can you put it up in my room? They take initiative. I am telling you, it worked for my own, for her friends. Every day in the classroom, in the urban core, I begin with a moment of silence. I ring the bell. We sit after I have explained to them, what do you want to be in this day? Do you want to be the best writer, mathematician, one day an astronaut? Today is your day. Close your eyes and imagine and become it. This is your opportunity to shine. We sit in the silence. We stretch and look for the greatness inside of us. So in that day, we can be the best version of ourselves. And when I ring the bell 3 more times, we get up, we go to work. It's awesome. Now, sometimes, as you can imagine, in the day, in elementary school, in a Montessori room, 1st, 2nd, 3rd graders, 4, 5, and 6-year-olds, either way, it gets awful noisy fast. I say they can go from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat. I'll just walk over and ring the bell once. Everybody stops and they take 3 deep breaths. I don't raise my voice. I don't blame anybody. I don't pick on the loudest child. And we all go back to work. That is what's so great about being mindful as a family. I believe it begins in the home. A lot of my parents who have been meditating for years tell me, I can't do this, I need your help. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you are the authority in your home. They teach them so many wonderful things. So I've written a book and Janet's written a book. Mine is Raising Calm Kids, and it's a parent's guide to teach you how to meditate with your children. We have a bunch of CDs, which are fabulous, so that you can listen at home, listen in the car, that you can inspire and encourage yourself and your children so that you can come together in the silence. I'm telling you, it's after the silence that you will be blown away, if you will, with the responses, the comments, the concerns, and the encouragement from your children. They are more loving, kind, and forgiving. Some of the children have been coming to meditation every Sunday, except when they're sick or on vacation, since we started. And those same children I've watched learn to read, learn to understand, be able to sit quieter for longer, ask to ring the bowl with reverence and respect, tell all the newbies, once you go across this line and we walk out in that hall, there is no talking. They all know the basic rules for keeping order, as well as how to have a blast. They always put the art supplies away, help each other, especially the new ones, which we have every single week. Meditation draws people that are not churchgoers sometimes, and they also draw people that are looking for something deeper, something they can share with their children. I hate to say it, but after Newtown, people were stunned, in shock, even walking around our church, not knowing what to do or say with their children. You don't have to say anything. Hug them, love them, and sit in the silence. Allow the answers to come from within instead of always from without. As a teacher, believe me, 21 years ago, I spoke it, you wrote me a paper, I graded it, it was all fabulous. Now, however, I have learned over the years, what do you want to learn? And what is important to you? And how can you find it inside of you? It'll stick if it comes from you. If it comes from me, it won't last. I would love to guide you in the ability to meditate with your children and to have this for your church. It is so easy to set up, and we learned by a lot of mistakes. We didn't know, we weren't sure. Would children be able to sit for an hour? Well, we don't sit for the whole hour. We wiggle if we have to. I can tell by the energy in the room. Maybe we wiggle first. But we always meditate before we do the walking and before we do the art project. In fact, one time I tried to switch it up, and the kids were like, no, we meditate first. I even did an action research project for the end of my master's program at UMKC, and we did a month study with 4 children who come to our meditation. Their parents were pretty regular about coming as well and had their own practice. The children kept records of their daily meditations, and the parents did feedback as well. If they saw any changes, just an observation, no criticism, no conversation. We then met once a week together, and I gave them different things to think about and ponder. We had different subject matters and themes to discuss, and they absolutely loved it. The most surprising of the whole action research project was the fact that the parents themselves were so delighted and surprised at how diligent the children were at meditating every day. The children gave feedback if they felt happy, sad, blah, and there was no judgment about how they felt. They had the CDs, we gave them some mala beads, and I gave them each a tiny little bowl with a bell, so they each had the experience of beginning and ending their own meditation. One girl even took the daily meditations that I had written to school, and I asked her, wait a minute, what did your teacher say? She said, nothing. And I said, well, how did you know who to pick? And she said, oh, I knew the friends of mine that needed to meditate. And I said, where did you do it? And she said, at recess, of course. And this is a 6-year-old little girl that goes to a French academy. And I said, wait a minute, what did you tell your teacher what you were doing? And she said, oh no, she's not ready yet. How about that for discernment? Some of the children say their teachers need meditation, and I agree. There's days that I need to be reminded as well. But the beauty of it is that it used to take me longer to be aware and acknowledge maybe I was getting too upset. I'm in a traffic jam. I'm late for an appointment. The doctor's late seeing me. However, then I can recognize if I just take 3 deep breaths and get present to what's going on, just be with it, allow it, and let it go. I do much better as a person on the planet. It is a gift that we can each give one another, especially in our churches. I think what we do is amazing, and I want you to have that gift. I want you to be able to go home, grab a person like me, and say, hey, will you lead these children? And somebody who's going to say yes. You have all the material you need. You can contact us. I would love to support you and encourage you and assist you in any way I can. And it would be great to have the children be connected to their heart and their mind. Their heart-mind, as we say. Not just what they think, but what they feel. I am so excited that you have the opportunity to either begin or continue something maybe you've already started. I would love to share ideas with you if you're doing something of this nature already. So, the 4 pillars of meditation with children are silence, that you all have to get quiet. Turn off the phones, the TV, Facebook, anything that gets in your way of being quiet in your home. Put the dog down for his nap and get together in the living room, the bedroom. I know some people meditate before bed and they bring all the children into their family bed. Whether you're sitting or lying down, you want to make sure that everybody has already gone to the bathroom. The second pillar, after getting silent, is to get comfortable, which I've alluded to. You find the space that works for you. For my family, we used a candle, a bowl, over the years pictures, rocks from a nature walk, anything that said, here is our little space of sacredness. Here is our space where we are going to connect to something beyond us. We're going to be reminded of the things that inspire us, nature, beauty, maybe a photo of someplace you've gone to visit on vacation. And the third thing, if you have some type of affirmation, and you can create that for your family. Ours is feel the warmth of the peace surrounding me, let it comfort me. And that kind of signals to everyone, we're going to meditate, and then the bowl is going to end the meditation. And the fourth thing is to put yourself in the story. Whether you're listening to a CD or sharing your own guided meditation, you will become so good at this, you'll write your own book soon. And the fourth point is that you allow the children and you allow yourself to be in the story, whichever story you're telling. Whether it be climbing a treehouse and looking up into the sky and seeing on each cloud every person that you love, and being able to send gratitude and thankfulness and love back to the people that already love us, our family, our friends, and our pets. And then there's that space that you can get to in meditation that's not a lecture, it's not a judgment call, and it's not a critical conversation with a teenager. That you can bring to mind someone that possibly is not so easy to love. Maybe a conversation you had, or a fight you had with a best friend. how can you possibly forgive? In the silence of your heart, because the forgiveness frees us, not the other person. And so in those moments, the children and I send love out to the people that aren't so easy to love, whether it be the guy in the back of the room or a teacher that's had a bad day. We send them love. That's it. And when you're done, I just say, does anybody have anything to share? Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. Either way is fine. It's their time. I feel like a vessel that I want to share this with you, with the children. And the Dalai Lama says, if every 8-year-old in the entire world learned to meditate, the world wars would end within the next 5 years. I believe this to be true. I believe if the children can respond first with silence, breathing, being fully present to the situation, and not with anger, rage, and having to backtrack, what would our world look like? What would the classrooms look like when someone says something that's off? What would our families look like when the teenager doesn't get the car, or he gets a car and wrecks the car? How do we deal with one another? Whether we're right or wrong, who cares? That's not what this is about. Being mindful, grateful, and when we're not, being able to get back to it. The opportunities are endless. The advantages of meditating versus not meditating, I just cannot imagine a relationship with my daughter without it. I have seen her grow. I have gone on retreat with her since she was 3 years old, every 6 months. And in those times, we have kept journals, we have shared stories, we have done art projects. But the bottom line is, I think she was 10, and we did a 5-day retreat, silent retreat. Of course, we snuck and talked at bedtime. But the bottom line is this: the moments I have with my daughter that are precious, priceless in my heart are some of those moments where we were away on retreat, no one was around, or it was late at night, where we meditated when something great happened or something tragic happened, and we just got silent. I offer you this as a parent, as a teacher, as a person on the planet who wants to see all children, and I mean every single child, have the ability to be mindful, to breathe, to meditate, and to be fully present in the here and now. I thank you so much for coming on this cruise and spending time with Janet and the Serenity Pause, Lisa and Vilma. Thank you for your hard work. And I hope that you take home not just seashells and t-shirts and beautiful jewelry, but that you would take home these books and CDs, and that you would allow yourself the opportunity to meditate with your child. See what it brings. We'd love to hear from you. We would appreciate your feedback, and we would support and help you any way we can. Come visit us. I would love to share what we do with you. And our kids are amazing. I kind of think they're the greatest kids in the world, but I'm sure yours are too. So, thank you, and as best I can, namaste.